And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Songs of Six. Gonna get a little bit of time passing here, and I think we're gonna work early on here. I think we're gonna work on expanding the hospital system. Our people want like 40, 41, let's say 42-ish employees working the hospital system just so there's available bedding. At the moment, we don't have that because we've been fairly stingy with our hospital system. But I can definitely expand that much. Take a few more workers, and that wouldn't be a problem. So where is our hospital? So your hospital. Anyway, we're looking like 3 or 4 person hospitals right now, so they're pretty small. Yeah, they're pretty small. We want to fix that. And we're getting complaints like, yeah, we got adequate coverage. Just got complaints about bed numbers, really, is what's going on. Oh, and we were in the middle of building some housing as well. We'll do a bit of both. Okay, so can I copy and paste you in a sensible fashion? Outside the mountain, probably yes. Down there. Might put a custom one in there. Well, the custom one means I have to dig it out, don't I? I still might put a custom one there. We'll check up on it in a moment. And we've got, oh, that's the barber. I think we have, yeah, you're the physician. Do I not have a hospital up here? I thought I had a hospital up here. There's the hospital, okay. I think we still want another one. Might intentionally actually make them a little bit bigger. Let's make a new one. Make it bigger. New design at least. Turn the speed down a little bit. Want it to be like a city block wide at least. These are just spam the beds options, right? So that's a worker each. So that would be 3. That's probably why we're running like 3 workers each, right? Yeah, that's why we're running 3 workers each, give or take. So I suppose we can do 6 pretty easily. That would be 6 workers. Okay. Okay. So we've done 6 there, 4 there, so that's another 10. Get maximum on the hospitals, we need a total of 40, but we've got 13 already, so that takes us to 23. So I suppose that's just 3 more of these once we've built them. Right, so 3 more of those. Can you fit up there? No. Usually not too bad. Put one up there. And we worked out that you were the right size for a hospital, for a community block, so I can plop you there. Wouldn't be too bad. And then, based on what we were doing, that wouldn't be too bad. And then when we come along, right, some sort of road coming along like you. And we connect you up pretty well. Okay, housing there, and then we want some housing over here. I'm gonna need some benches over here. Because the way we copy and paste these things around, it doesn't take the benches. Probably could just use some benches over here as well, but... Bench. There's the bench. Try something out like that. Anyway, we'll wait for those hospitals to build. I think that will help a little bit with the desired bedding level. And we also want to see if we've got enough workers when those are built. If we've got enough workers, we'll... well, if we don't have enough workers... Well... We don't have enough workers, we'll bring more Dondorians, and if we have enough workers, we'll bring like 100 humans in and start building out another laboratory district. Or library district. Got 200 here, I think we want like another 100. Now the question is, do I want to go down or left? And that's maybe arguing for down. What about janitor coverage? That's just arguing for more janitors. We'll do more janitors. Let's grab a couple copy area for the janitors. Oh, that actually fits really nice in there. Put that there. Extreme temperature, so people are going to probably be wanting extra wells. Looking around. Apparently not having the best coverage on hearths, surprisingly. Oh, I'm seeing the vegetable farm. Okay. Or vegetable harvest there. Do with some wood, so let's do a felled tree pass. Let's hit this batch over here. Also, how does the food stockpile or food generation look? Okay, 140, so in theory enough for another 300 to come to the city. Probably means after the next librarian pass, we want to do some more fishing. Or improve the yield in one way or another. Are those... That hospital is incomplete. Is in a state where it should be getting connection, but that's just finding odd time, or idle time up here for people to work. That one's building. Well, I was going to put another one in the mountain here. suppose that probably wants to be a custom one if you're going to put it there. Okay. So we're looking at something that can fit in, say, that hole. Not too much problem. Okay, so that fits 20 more patients and 5 more employees. It fits reasonably in the hole there, so we'll roll with that. Should be getting closer and closer to the desired Scythian storage. Although it probably is time to up the max storage again a little bit, because our people want, well, specifically our people want 6,000, which is what we got setting to, but we're planning on expanding past there. So let's, it's the trader actually need to modify, right? So we want to raise, yeah, let's say 6.5. Then this wants to go there. That'll work. Mining it as fast as we can is not a terrible thing. Well, actually, nowhere near where we're mining. We're mining it rapidly because we've got 99 to 100 workers on it at any given time. We could put 600 something on here, so 6 times more. Yeah, that hospital's not done. This one's done. Oh, and all the new ones obviously need to turn off opium because we don't have that to serve. At least not in that quantities. So we have no painkillers in the Empire here. If you don't want pain, don't get hurt. And there's maybe an argument, because I always have problems with delivery of fabric to these, to put fabric holders near them, but although I suppose for the service need, they just care about the number of workers. They don't actually care if the beds are made. So yeah, we've hit the service need, 41. So that's good to see. That'll help out there. Benches is actually quality. Laboratory, so I think we're looking at points where the improvements here are improved quality. The torches maybe being the exception, where they're like a little bit more in the torch department. And they like their wrongful deaths to be less. Okay. So yeah, I need like 50 more in to meet the odd jobber quota, so we're gonna go to 2350. And then we are thinking about making another 100 human jobs. Actually, I suppose we're going to do like another 90 or so, right? I've got another 40, because I'm going to delete Library 1, Library 2, to make way for more housing. So I think we'll actually go 3 white here. So we're going to put another one of you. Like so. So that's going to be another 40 humans worth of jobs. Because it's 200 plus 100 minus 60, so it's 40 more jobs from that, yeah. So another 40 human jobs. How many do I have in the labs? 115 labs, okay. Yeah, so for 450. So when we take this to 450, Extra 40 human workers will help with construction in the meantime. Now, that's not going to provide as much knowledge, so we'll probably be thinking about expanding knowledge again. But that gives us a nice, super dense library structures we've got going on here. And it's taking quite a while to clear out the area because we're put it on top of a little bit of a forest here. Oh, bot's trying to sell me viewers. No, that we don't do that here. Yeah, waiting for this library to build. Yeah, we'll be going after more and more services. Or more and more quality of services. There's not very many more services to pick up. We're missing Arena, Grand Arena, and Bathhouse. Otherwise, it's quality and fulfillment. Right, so we have Tavern. Yeah, there's an upgrade to the Tavern. The problem with the Tavern is not we don't have it, it's that we don't have enough to serve there. Right, that's back in access more than it is really in the services here. Still making positive cut stone, right? Yeah. We're just using a lot of cut stone in the constructions. So the road network's gonna take a while to build out for that sort of guys. Yeah, big easy. Fulfill the services. 1/5 of all possible fulfillment comes from services in our case. And the next biggest category is food. Actually, the biggest category is food. Is food and furniture and such. But furniture is heavy. Right, so quarter of item per year for every item you have to give them, and then we're looking at like 12,000 stone, or yeah, 12,000 stone, 7,000 lumber. When we do furniture, we're gonna have to be willing to be committed to that, because that's gonna be pretty intensive. We might actually be better off doing more world conquest before we do any furniture distribution. Because how expensive furniture and more food is. And then as far as nobilities go, we've got 8 of the possible 10 assigned. We got our governor, we got our fish, master of the fish, master of the carpenters, master of the metal smelters. Oh, we got 2 governors. That works as well. Master Sizzling Mines, breweries, masonries. Can I do tools as well? Could do tools as well. Do I need both governors right now for the points? 25 available, and the 1 level is providing 20. So I actually don't need you as a governor. We only need the 1 governor. Band of raiders is at your borders. It seems they are related to the faction you misled into attacking earlier. Seem quite a bit stronger than the first group, but that also means it's unlikely the 3rd attempt will be made. Okay, where are these bandits? I think they're on the border. That event says they're coming, I think is what that's doing. There's maybe a short-term argument to deploy the garrison to the army. I think we'll hold off a little bit. But yeah, I think right now we don't need this governor. I think we picked this governor up because we didn't have promotions when we took him up. I'm gonna swap him over to smithing. Oh no, they're just straight up attacking the city. Okay. 135 versus 193. So how easy this is going to be to defend with the city is dependent upon who they've brought. The first wave was real tiny, but they brought 5 cantors. More importantly than 5 cantors, 5 cantors with, like, hammers, so we just got hammered on. That is the hypothetical weakness of metal armor here, is that it's not particularly great against hammers. Okay, so that's not too bad. Yeah, a number of these guys are bigger and hypothetically stronger, but the cantors, like the 5 cantors, 5 giants with giant hammers, was not a good day for us. Today will likely be a better day. Right, the thing that's, I think, against us here is their mounted. If we get lucky, they'll just charge our front, we just have to hold. The smart thing for them to do would be do hammer and anvil and hit us in the front and the rear. No, they're just going to slam into the front. Yeah, they do have enough to surround us, which did break us. Okay. Well. We'll do a quick restart. We'll see if we can do that a little bit better. But yeah, that was awfully quick for how they were equipped. Guess we'll do loose formation and run the formation a little bit wider. Hopes that we don't get surrounded as badly. Yeah, no, they've got enough to get around the flank, and that screws it up. We've already bled, like, a lot off the right unit. Although we may be able to hold here. We'll see. Oh, there goes the full right one. The last unit rolls around and hits us in the rear, which is what they're planning on doing by the looks of it. Yeah, there goes the army, which means they are going to come in and sack the city again. Hopefully if we get lucky, they'll just go straight for the center of the city again. And not do too much damage on their way in. Okay, yeah, they're nice enough to run up a road. Yeah, they're not nice enough to completely leave the city alone. There's an enemy. Hopefully not too much damage. Nope, they're going right through a pasture. Yeah, they go. Collected 600,000 money and 50% of the warehouse stock. Okay, how many buildings were actually damaged? So, we had one broken stall and one broken pasture. There was other stuff damaged, but none of it was actually broken. And needless to say, we had a lot of people killed, because we lost the 200 garrison or so. Although migration was willing enough to fill that back in, so we've basically bounced back from that. Which I suppose in a way is a sign of a good city, right? It's, oh yeah, you can just happily lose 200, 300 people for non-wrongful reasons. The city just fills back up. Is a good sign. Okay. So, new lab is done, so the old labs need to go. Smart remove. That lab. And that lab. It's still net 60 new, or no, still net 40 new library jobs. So we should end up with more innovation from that. Once it's properly hired up and we hit our target. And then to facilitate more housing, we are going to just copy and paste housing blocks into those spots. I'm actually surprised we don't have housing issues around the massive libraries. Although I am 100 housing ahead of where we need to be. I say about before I make another 100 jobs, which should fix that real quick. I was hoping that would be... the last time we had that event, the second raid was out on the world map, so we were able to hit it with the regional army easy enough. I think our peace treaty with these guys is still too fresh for a declaration of war. Yeah, minus 1 on the surrounding factions. A little bit more than we want, because we want to keep the Western group happy. Maybe not rich enough yet to make colleagues who really like us enough. Or, well, we were before we got raided. We gotta recover from the raid, that's what's going on, right? Are we trending down or are we trending up? We're trending down, but that's also because we had to spend a lot on replacing the lost rations and herbs. And we earned hit stockpile target for the tools, so the tools aren't going up. Okay. I'm just checking to make sure the treasury should be trending up and not down after the raid. Yep, so that housing came in real quick. I'm running negative on Cutstone. Why am I running negative on Cutstone? Well, the obvious answer is because I'm spending too much. Yeah, maintenance. Okay. So I need to make more stuff. That was one of the ones we were looking at taking the improvement on as far as crafts, right? So 9 innovation for 11 workers, probably worth doing. 10 for 10, probably worth doing. That probably is probably Cutstone positive by itself. Do basic craft next instead of food, because I think the food's pretty expensive at the moment. Yeah. Do one on the mine, do the rest on basic craft. Oh, that was not enough to take us positive. I might teach you need to do more cut stone. Okay. Oh, that made us a lot better on the pottery and the furniture. And then the mining, in theory, helps us with hidden Sith ore backup. Yeah, looking at potentially doing another masonry building. Something like that. We need to bring more Dondorians in to support that. And then service-wise, we've got 115 service. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards fine speech. Yeah, so that's definitely, we want the cut stone upgrade for doing that. Let's go for fine speech. Then we'll do the toilets probably after that. Access is probably decline in drinks, apparently. Distribution of drinks is struggling for some reason. And then we had a couple of wrongful deaths, which has dragged that down. Yeah, and our people do appreciate good old riches, and we lost a bunch of our riches. Yeah, so I suppose we're just waiting for that cut stone, and then we're going to try to bring more people in to where we've cut stone. Why are your services bad? Or, more importantly, why was it declining? It's improving right now, so that's making it hard to determine why it declined, I suppose. Maybe moving around to the neighborhoods. Maybe one of my neighbors has done a particularly good coverage or something. Hospital coverage is definitely better than it used to be. Physician coverage, I think, is still pretty decent. We could probably do with some more physicians. That would help with health. Although we're getting most of the 4 on physicians, so that's not too bad. Shrines look fine. Hearths are all taxed. Okay. Put a second hearth there. Another one there. And assuming we can fit it, a little bit more hearth coverage is definitely not a bad plan. Because, yeah, I think our people are having adequate access to hearths. Especially... Yeah, okay, so they have adequate access to hearths during the summer. That's why we're getting some the service supplement here is a little bit cyclical. Also not particularly great access to hospitals. Oh, that's probably not something I'm worth fixing right now because of the high herb upkeep cost on it. Not that it's a high herb upkeep cost, but that it's an herb upkeep cost, and it doesn't take much for that to be high. Yeah, I should probably set up an export for fiber. We store fiber here. No, store some fiber here. You're not a good place to store stuff. You're not a terrible place to store stuff. And you've already got fiber storage and it's already full. Okay. You, or just added you. Do you have fiber? You have fiber. You don't have fiber. Let's add some fiber here, now that there's a barber nearby. People besides the Avivians may visit you. Add some fiber here. The nearby barber has someplace to drop the fiber. There we go. Okay. And then, yeah, we probably want another export. Set up an export for fiber. And we'll set a pretty high limit to it. We'll set it like... I'm saying I'm going to set it high. I'm going to set it like 50%. And this is so we're just not losing it on the floor to decay. And you're going to export fiber if we're over 50%. Oh, I guess fiber's pretty worthless. Don't export below sub. We got one buyer willing to buy at that price. Yeah, we're better off probably trying to convert it into fabric if we need more than that. And then leather. Leather's looking pretty stable, given that we're turning it down into armor. Oh no, it's looking stable because that's just how much the local stockpiles apparently hold. Not because we're stably turning it into armor. No, we got 80 there. So what's your problem? Internal storage is full. Oh, I don't have adequate storage for armor. That would do it. There we go. Because the closest storage was over here. And to keep the logistic system sane, we pulled the pull range down, so it doesn't pull that far. Yeah, so spring has come, summer's come, so service needs should be trending back up, at least from the heart's perspective. Oh, we're a little low on food, apparently. Distribution-wise, okay. turn the speed down. We're thinking of flooding this bit here to get more fishery space. So we're gonna remove land. So plop rid of you. Sort of square up the bit we're gonna keep. I think that might be legitimately enough. I'll do that like there. The first bit. Or do I want it a little bit bigger than that? Maybe it can be that wide. So that might actually be more land than we want because we can't flood it all. Physically can't flood it all. Gonna be a strip down the middle there, like so, that we have to leave unflooded, but it'll be fine for the moment. Yeah, and then our food distribution system's struggling a little. Yeah, very quickly carve the island up to make way for much more fishing area. There we go. Turn the speed down. We want to build another fishery. And yeah, we basically want it to cover this entire area we just flooded. Like so. Storage wants to be over here. I might actually make the storage decently large, like so. And that's actually about right on the land to water ratio. Nice big, like 18-man fishery. Oh, the Amoebians actually dislike hospitals, to be contrarian. Forgot about that. Yeah, the Amoebians, to be contrarian, dislike hospitals. Trying to figure out why the Amoebians are unhappy. And the answer is because they don't appreciate that there's now places for them to be saved from imminent death. And the Amoebians want everyone jailed, and, well, the Dondorians are in charge, so they get to make the choice. Plenty of stocking. What happened to your... Their road preferences down. And your torch and statue preference. Okay, so you move someplace where there's less torches and statues, obviously. Which imply you're not in that housing district, which is not quite right. They might be up in these fisheries, so they might... Some of them might have migrated into there, right? That makes sense. Explain why they're a little grumpy. That's what's happened. Yeah, we're cutstone positive. Cutstone positive again, but my mason isn't complete. What changed to significantly lower my cutstone maintenance? So another question is, am I adequately carrying the janitorial duties? Peaceful underground. Okay, minerals are going to be cheaper for some time. That's fine. We don't export minerals, but... Let's zoom around a bit. Okay, so we're having a little bit of maintenance issues over here, although we built a janitor over here, which should be helping. Yeah, that's getting seen to, maybe not as quickly as we'd like. Oh, look, use a little bit more metal production because of the efficiency improvements on steel usage. Metal usage. It's not going to be easier to make by improving refining. Or, no, I'll probably just need a new refinery. Although we are struggling to bring in the main two crowds, which is not super good. Because we're having drink delivery issues. It's probably the best way to describe it. They want more drink. Drink servings was quite valuable, and it's collapsed. So as we go take a look at our empire for a bit. So we've got an army, so if we had targets, we could go on the warpath. Another thing we could try to do is I could try to squeeze these places up to 60. See if we can get a little bit more out of them that way. I think the answer to that is no, because that's going to cost us workforce in the short run. I'm not sure we're going to get it back if we were to go to the next level. Right, because we get 12 back, so the question is can... Well, this is probably one of the few cases where the answer is yes, right? Because we have moisture over 5. So +1 growth, or the +2 growth from the next one here would be enough to get to 600. So 2 subtracted off of 12 would be 10, so we'd have 10 more. So that doesn't sound too bad. And then we can technically use that to import more grain, to more brewing. Okay, so we're looking, you could grow if we did that. This is one of our other more moist locations. The area is a bit small. Yeah, the area is a little small, which is what's hitting hard here. Although again, I think we'd probably still with 2 growth here. Turn this off for a moment so I can look at the levels. 2 growth would be 5 providing 5. Yeah, it's a big jump going up to that next one, which is another 5 providing another 5. So that would be 10. Okay, so that is actually the hypothetical problem there. To get to 600, we'd have to spend 10, we'd only be positive 2. And yeah, that's the case there, that's gonna be the case here, which is gonna be the case here, which is gonna be the case here. Although if we've unlocked the next size, paying 10 to get 10 isn't that, although this one in particular would be even worse. That's the bad one. But yeah, probably do some realm expansion. For that I would need a little bit of knowledge, which we have, to pick up Organization 1 for small town. Do I have what I need for upgraded toilets? That might be another way to get some more fulfillment. Yes, I've got everything I need for upgrading toilets. Okay. That still wouldn't actually stop us from upgrading the town. So let's do gilded seats for proving how people are in the town. We'll pick up Organization 1 for expanding the colonies. So, toilets first. And then out here in the towns, obviously I need to take a level off. Here I can actually take the stand off, so let's take the stand off for the moment. And then do growth. And accept. Yeah, that should take us up to exactly 600. So the concern here is that's little close, so we're gonna have to wait until every last guy moves in. So it'll be a little slow. But that works. Here, can I take the stand off and have that work? Not with the taxes as high as it is, but I could probably temporarily take the taxes down. Yeah, we can get the taxes fine for that. And then do that. That takes us up over 600, so that would be fine. So we'll accept that for the moment. Contemplate doing the same here. So if we drop the stand, take the growth. No, I gotta do a double growth. Okay. So if we drop the stone and do double growth, does that get us to 600? No. So we'd have to give up all the RGO. That gets us to 600. That would get us to 600. That would also require us, in the short run, taking the taxes down. That would then give us 12 more work, so we can get the workers working. Then we could run an improved quality of life building. How does the math on the taxes specifically work? So it's workforce. Yeah, I think it is workforce, right? So if we drop this down, obviously the number went up, so it's workforce. Is it the remainder of the workforce, or... Oh, we're having a species multiplier that actually provides us 0.02. So we're getting fractional workforces from that. That's what's going on. So in theory, that would go up when we upgrade the housing. Either way, okay. I think we'll still do this temporarily. We're gonna be in a little bit of pain due to the lack of RGOs coming in there. So these two obviously don't really hurt very much while we're doing this, because we're just reducing their tax, the tax burden in one. Okay, we'll let those three grow. In the meantime, obviously we're gonna have to set up import for clay. Turn the imports for clay back on. Yeah, we'll roll with that for a bit. That may take a while to kick in, so we're basically just gonna check in every time we finish upgrading another toilet. We've got the first 3 done. You're waiting on cut stone, which is positive at the moment. Okay, another one done. So that's going to be the next one. We'll check back in after checking up on the society. Up to 564. Again, the target is exactly 600, so it's going to be a little slow near the end. 575, okay. And you've got the farthest to go. But you should still hit there reasonably soon. In this case, we're going to redo the same RGO buildings in this one. It's going to be more people. This one's going to get us another 12 labor, so we're not sure what we're going to put there. Although, we're going to put the stands back in on these two, right? So the stands are going to go back in. It's just what do we do with workforce, yeah. Okay, back into the city. Wait for the cut stone to pile up. In the meantime, we're also hoping the fulfillment improves, so we can get more migrants in. So that's one of the reasons we're improving the toilets. One of the reasons we're improving the region, the world map, is then we can do that to import more grain to make more beer. I think that's kind of what's stymieing the people who are stymied in migrating, is the number of people relative to the amount of beer went up. So everyone got less beer, and they're not happy about that. Right, so that's hitting axis. I think that's what the part of the sine wave is on the axis, is while it says the grain comes in daily, I think the grain actually comes in yearly. So we're getting a wave of grain. It gets turned into beer. So drink servings go up. The grain runs out. The beer goes away. Drink servings go down. Right. So if we want that to be a little more stable, we need more beer, first of all. Yeah, so at the bottom here, drink servings were downward trending. While we're up at the top here, drink servings were positive trending. Yeah, so I need to fix the drink servings, which means I need more grain coming in. And we can bring more Cotonians in to work more breweries effectively. And then that also causes a little bit of cycling on the services, because, okay, we never had enough beer for the taverns, but that'll help the taverns. Do we have enough for that toilet upgrade? We do. That's where the next one's going to be. Check up on the world map, see how those upgrades are coming along. You're 2 away, although the last 2 might take a while. You're there, so we can take the size increase on the city. And with that size increase, we can take the stand. And I'm thinking of going really heavy on the grain here. Keep this place focused on what it does best, which is shipping us more grain. Up the grain tax. And just put the regular taxes back up. So we're getting a little bit of cash tax based off of workforce. Oh, you hit 600, so we do you. That provides some more workforce, so we're going to do stands. Thinking about doing stone here. Might just leave this as is for the moment. You are not there, you're at 507. Oh, I could do clay, because we need clay. That would get us to stop importing clay. Or significantly reduce the need for clay imports. I the way, I think the noble in charge of governing needs a promotion. Or, technically doesn't need the promotion. We don't need it until we're doing this one. The next upgrade here would have cost 10. We had 5. Anyway, I suppose we're already importing stone from you. So, yeah, let's take another stone level here. And you're actually better at clay than I think the other spawn over here was. Oh no, here's pretty good at clay and stone, so that's why we're doing clay and stone there. We might go back to either clay or stone. We'll see. Yeah, taxes help offset the pottery. So as we probably just want to do the same thing again, right? We want to do our clay and stone. Okay. Yeah, people have moved in. People are happier. We've doubled the grain. Storage for this area is there. You have open spaces. You don't have open spaces. And your grain storage is empty. This is maybe not optimal, but we're gonna put a warehouse on the side of the warehouse. Like so. Alright, there's an argument that if we just widen the warehouse instead of building another one, we can get a few more, like one more row of crates in here, which would be a little bit more space optimal. In the future, we might think about doing that upgrade, but for the moment, this will work. We're basically going to make that beer and grain storage. And then we think we have enough grain coming in, because we just doubled the grain yield to double the brewery. Maybe not. Yeah, because we've done stuff to improve the brewery yield, which means the breweries actually consume more. Either way, I think we're going to take another 40 of you in. And we're definitely going to do another brewery. The question is really not do we make more beer, but is do we need 1 or 2 more breweries was really the question there with my math. You know, I raised the limit to 80 and 106 are here. No, I raised the limit to 120. 106 is here. Let's see if I can remember my math from second to second. Yeah. And then you got added. You are going to basically be all grain and booze. Yeah, and hopefully the more booze helps keep people happy, or makes more people happy. Improve that toilet. 1 more toilet to go. We are set to have more Mivians come in once we can improve their happiness. Although that's easier said than done. Did I take the tech for speakers? I did. Okay, we'll probably end up doing the speakers after we get back from the tea break in the middle of the stream here. As far as YouTube is concerned, I have recorded for over an hour for this part, so I should actually bring this part to a close. I'm kind of just waiting for this last laboratory. There we go. The toilet's upgraded. We'll come back and do the speakers next. So we know the speakers are spread out. That should help with improving happiness. Again, that's just cut stone, so if we're patient enough, that'll come into play. I do need more workers. We'll see if we get more Dondorians in the next one. Looks like they're stable and growing at the moment. Although we may have had a recent death. It might be that season where we start running low on the drink. Yeah, the drinks are trending down. Although, really, we haven't had enough time for the new brewery to kick in, so we'll see if that helps stabilize it month to month, year to year. We should be coming up on the next grain shipment either way. And yeah, we'll see if that works. The other thing to do is I need more fish, I think. Oh, before I forget, did you hit the magic number? You have not hit the magic number. I'll have to remember to check in on that, see if it has hit the magic number next time. Anyway, I suppose this army does not need to be in this region right now. We'll march it over there. Oh, that's a mass army. Okay, don't piss off the people to the east. We wanna invade these guys because these guys got a tiny army and a tiny garrison. We've already beat them in war once. We just don't want it to turn into a collision war like it did last time. Which is why we're waiting for the betrayal to go down. That's maybe in the range where we could maybe think about it. We'll think about that next time. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow where we continue to try to grow the city. We're up to 3.1 thousand people, mostly Dondorians in our Dondorian-ruled city. If you're watching on Twitch, this is where we're going to put the midstream tea break, where I go replace my soon-to-be empty cold cup of tea with a new, fresh, warm cup. But yeah, we'll be back to play another 2 parts after the tea break. So until then, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.